My name is JP Kharge. My question is short, relating to the earlier question pertaining to the non-veg food. What are the effects on the mind of the human being?
Brother asking the question, what are the effects on the mind of a human being by having non-veg food?
Yes.
And there are various researches done. Scientifically, it's healthy. Effect on the body, good muscles, good body, healthy, can live longer. You can see my debate on is non-veg food permitted or prohibited for a human being. As far as the question, I think you may be trying to hint that there's a research which says that what food you have has an effect on your behavior. So if you eat animals, then you start behaving like animals. Is it what you mean?
No. I am asking what are the effects on the thinking of the human being?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, that there's one research which says that if you eat animals, you start behaving like animals, means the effect of animals. There is a research which says what you eat has an effect on a behavior. So that's the reason we Muslims, we are allowed to eat only peace-loving animals like cow, goat, sheep, because we are peace-loving human beings. We are not permitted to have the ferocious animals like tiger, lion, leopard, because we don't want to be violent. So even if I agree with this research, I would like to say that Muslims are peace-loving. As far as health is concerned, it is very healthy. If a person has some medical problem, having certain non-veg food is problematic. Like that, even veg food is problematic. The food that causes maximum death in the world, it is alcohol. Is alcohol veg or non-veg, brother? Alcohol is veg or non-veg?
Yes.
Veg.
Pardon?
Alcohol is veg or non-veg?
I am preparing vegetarian food.
Alcohol is veg or non-veg, brother? Alcohol is vegetarian or non-vegetarian food?
Veg.
Veg food. The maximum death in the world by any food, it is by vegetarian food, alcohol. Number 2 death, maximum, is because of smoking. Smoking, tobacco, veg or non-veg?
That is the non-veg.
Tobacco is veg or non-veg?
Cabbage is veg.
Not cabbage, tobacco.
Tobacco is the non-veg.
Tobacco is non-veg. You get from an
Veg, this is the vegetable.
vegetarian, correct. So maximum deaths that take place in the world is because of alcohol. Number 1, vegetarian. Tobacco, number 2, vegetarian. So there's more problem in vegetarian food in the world than non-veg food. If you have certain problems, medical, there may be certain non-veg food which may be harmful, but more harm in the world is because of vegetarian food. So what is harmful? Quran says ban. Quran doesn't ban all vegetables. Quran bans alcohol. Surah Ma'idah chapter 5 verse number 90. And even smoking. Surah Baqarah chapter 2 verse 195. Because it is slow poisoning. So whatever is wrong should be banned. Quran does not ban all vegetables.
Namaste to all. I hope you saw the video of Zakir Naik. Zakir Naik always assumes him to be the most intelligent person in the world whenever he gives answer. But most of the time it becomes a joke. And I will explain to you the serious joke in this video also, where he is trying to manipulate very cleverly. He has not answered the questionnaire at all. I will try to answer to you from Vedic Sanatan Dharma. It is very, very important for all of us to understand the food habits and what Almighty God preaches in the Vedas. God is always one, God is always formless, and God always gives the knowledge to the public, to the entire humanity, only through the Vedas. And by adopting Vedas, Rishis have written many books. And those books, if we can understand in the light of Vedas, then only it is called as Vedic Sanatan Dharma. So any other book written by human being is not authority in conveying the God's message. That we must understand clearly. So here the questioner is asking whether the food what we are eating is going to impact our mind or not. Let us understand the answer from Chandogya Upanishad. The Rishi beautifully writes in the Shashta Prapatak, 6th chapter, Panchavam Kandam, which is the 5th Kanda and the first shloka. The Rishi says, Annam ashitam treda vidiyate tasya yaha stavishto dhatu stat purisham bhavatiyo madhyamas tanmansam yo anishtas tan manah. Very superb answer. See, you see, Rishi says to his son, he is saying that annam ashitam, whatever food you have eaten now, hey son, please listen to me, the food what you have taken now, treda, it becomes into 3 parts. You take the food, whatever you have consumed, it gets converted into three parts in your body. The first part is the stool bhag, or the physical or a solid part. The second part is semi-solid, or it is a mixture of solid and liquid. And the third part is the most subtle part of the food. So he says that tasya yah stavishtah dhatuhu tat purisham. Tasya means that food what you have eaten. Stavishtah, the maximum portion of the food is converted into purisham, malam. Purisham means malam, means waste, like the stools and the urine. But the food what we are eating, the major portion of the food is converted into purisham, malah. The remaining portion, the Rishi says, the remaining portion, the balance portion, in that one of the portion is neither solid nor liquid. That helps your body to develop mansam. It helps in body to develop your muscles or tissues or repair your cells and other things. And third one is yah anishtaha. Anemia means very suksham, very subtle. The food gets converted. There is a portion of the food which gets converted into most suksham form, and that most suksham form becomes manam, means mind. So the food itself becomes your mind. The food becomes your body, because the food, mansam means we are made of mansam. Our human body is made of flesh and bones and tissues and blood, etc., etc. We all know that. So the food only becomes as the food is getting converted into our body, and the remaining portion of the food is going as a waste, and the suksham portion, the minute portion of the food which cannot be seen by your eyes, that gets converted into your mind. So when we consume pious food, that means pious food means when we consume food after worshipping Almighty God by doing Agnihotra, by thanking Almighty God, after doing everyday name jap and tapasya, when we consume the food will get converted into mind. One of the portion of the food will get converted into the mind. So our mind will become tapasvi mind. Our mind will become pious mind. We will get pious thoughts in our mind by consuming this pious food. Whereas when we consume the food which is the result of violent actions, Zakir Naik says, that is why we Muslim believe in consuming peaceful animals. You cannot consume peaceful animals without inflicting violence on them. You have to cut them mercilessly. You can say a halal method, etc. Whatever method, you have to cut them. They will die. They know that they are dying. They are in a desperate pain. They shout very horribly. We all have heard it. Even in the nearby your house where there is a mutton shop or chicken shop, you can know when they are cutting that animal, it shouts, it tries to escape the death. So this is called as violence. And the food, when you consume that kind of food after inflicting violence to a prani, which is prohibited by Almighty God, I will explain to you, then that violence it will convert into your mind at one point of time. Even though because of your nature you do not show violence, but that violence will not help you to progress spiritually in the life. So anybody who consumes non-vegetarian food cannot be eligible for Brahma Vidya. And the sole purpose of Almighty God giving this human body is to worship Almighty God, is to realize the supreme power, is to realize the Almighty God, is to attain samadhi by everyday worship. And that worship is not any other worship mentioned in the books. That worship is mentioned only in the Vedic scriptures. And that worship is everyday Agnihotra. That worship is everyday name jap of Almighty God. That worship is everyday listening Vedas. That worship is everyday serving the Acharya. That worship is everyday serving our parents. That worship is everyday helping to other people, helping the society and nation to advance. That worship is to make others happy. That worship is to spread the Almighty God's message of the Vedas. This is called as worship in the Vedas. So the food what we eat, it gets converted into the mind. So when you eat the food out of result of a violent activity, your mind will also become violent. This is for sure. Further, God says in Rig Veda, my Acharya has beautifully written in 10th Mandal, 27th Sukta, 6th mantra, God says, Shritpan. God states, those who suck the blood of others and consume their flesh. This is for human beings. Please understand, Vedas are knowledge given for the human beings by Almighty God, not the knowledge given to tiger, lion, etc. the human beings who consume the flesh and blood of the others, darsham, I am watching them. God says, I am watching them, I am looking at them, and I know them very well. And God says in the mantra that ye ni niluhu, they do not, thus because they are consuming flesh and blood and of other animals, they do not praise me, but they are called as thankless person. Ni niluhu ye means thankless people. They do not praise me. In fact, they are also called as, God says, pavayah va vrittuyuhu, my wrath, my anger would fall on them. Ooh. 2 times God uses this word, means definitely and definitely. God says, God is warning that do not consume the flesh and blood of others. And further God says, va drishu sakayam, I also know those people, sakayam, those are the friendly people who strive very hard to consume the vegetarian food and who strive very hard against the flesh and blood takers. That means people who are always wanting to eat only veg food. I know those people. God says, Drishu Sakayam, they are friendly people. I know them and I bless them. So this is the warning of Almighty God. And further God says in Atharva Veda, if you kill our cows, or if you kill our horses, or if you kill any innocent being or an innocent person, then you must be killed by the bullet of the glass. God says this is the punishment that is awarded in Atharva Veda 1st Khanda 16th Sukta 4th mantra. And further Manusmriti says very clearly who is a non-veg eater. The person who is Anumanta, who is ordering to slaughter a cow or a horse or another animal, is called as Anumanta. He is a non-veg eater. And Vishita, one who cuts the flesh into pieces, person who is doing that activity is also a non-veg eater. He is a violent person. The next person is Nihanta, one who is a butcher. And next one is Kra Vikrai, one who does the business of flesh and blood, etc. The other person is Sanskarata, one who cooks it. Then Upaharta, one who serves it. And Kadakaha, one who heats it. And it further goes that even one who washes the utensils is also considered as a papi or a violent person or a non-veg eater. Even you are not eating the meat, but you are washing the utensils and helping them in some way, then you are a non-veg eater as per Manusmriti 5/51. So we must understand the Vedic Sanatana Dharma in the full sense. The only reason the world is in so much of pain today is because of non-veg consumption. We are killing every day so many lakhs and lakhs of cows or other animals, including the chicken, etc. We are killing them every day mercilessly for our own benefit, and everybody is having that food is getting converted into the mind. Everybody is having a very different mind today, and that mind is actually 100% against Almighty God today. And that is why we don't see people adopting Vedas today, because of this habit of food. Now coming to the last portion of what Zakir Naik told, he told that the most people die in the world because of alcohol and cigarette, which is vegetarian food. He is a totally foolish fellow who says that alcohol is our food. Alcohol is not the food. Alcohol is called as intoxicant. And Varjet Madhu Mansam, says the Dharma Shastra, means the flesh and the wine and the intoxicants are prohibited by Almighty God in the Vedas. Varjet means prohibited. So alcohol is not food. It could be taken from the plant sources, but it is not called as food. Alcohol is intoxicant because the moment you consume alcohol, the moment you consume or you have the habit of smoking cigarettes, your mind will get intoxicated. You will get a kind of pleasure inside you, and in that pleasure you will forget that you have to worship Almighty God. No alcoholic person can worship Almighty God. No smoker can worship Almighty God or do tapasya or do pranayama or do everyday Agnihotra. Even they are doing, it is against the concept of Almighty God. So that act of Agnihotra, God will not reward that soul. He will punish that soul because he is against Vedas. Please understand that God is ever impartial. There is concept in Islam religion, Christian religion, that you can do mistake and you can go and ask for forgiveness, God will forgive you. In Vedic Sanatan Dharma, which is the only Dharma in this world, God does not forgive. If you smoke and drink and do Agnihotra, God will not forgive your sin. God will strictly punish you because God is ever impartial. So Zakir Naik is totally foolish to say that because of vegetarian food only most of the people are dying. This is not called as vegetarian food, it is called as intoxicant. Although it is made from the plants, it is called as intoxicant. So intoxicant is totally prohibited by Almighty God in the Vedas and the Vedic Sanatan Dharma. So we must be very clear and we must be serious to these kind of answers, and we must strictly raise the voice that this guy is trying to pollute the entire universe by his venomous speech. Thank you so much. Namaste. Om.